Welcome to the Real Estate Investment Nomad podcast. I am your host, Nathaly Salas, an international real estate expert. Join me as we explore the thrilling world of global real estate. We'll uncover diverse international markets, backed by solid data and engaging insights. Each episode features expert guests from the hottest markets, providing you with the knowledge to invest wisely and successfully. Whether you are a local realtor aiming to go global or an investor curious about international opportunities, this is the podcast for you. Get ready to transform your approach and achieve global real estate success to become a real estate investment nomad. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Real Estate Investment Nomad podcast. Today, we are with James Hughes, all the way from London, and we're going to be chatting about the difference between being an agent over there and, different from the world, because it's very different over there, as we were chatting earlier. So please, James, let us know more about yourself, and your experience in the real estate space, please.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, thank you for having me on. Obviously, a big fan of what you do all over social media and your efforts in the community. So yeah, absolutely honoured to be on the podcast. Yes, my name's James Hughes. I've been now partnered with 𝗙𝗂𝗘𝗘 for 3 years, but I've been a corporate agent for 15 years. You made a very kind of valid point there about how UK agency is different. The majority of us, as opposed to starting self-employed, we all start as employed agents. So most of us, we get employed, we start as a high street agent, we learn our craft, you work way up to be a negotiator, a valuer, and then eventually a branch manager. So I was a branch manager for a good amount of time, a very good schooling, and then the self-employed movement here in the UK probably started about 3 or 4 years ago. And then Jonathan Woods, my sponsor, he partnered with 𝗙𝗂𝗘𝗃, and then he introduced me to 𝗙𝗂𝗃 3.5 years ago. So I've now been with, my first year was horrific. I didn't know what to do. It was very much a learning curve, but I loved the challenges. It was when they had the Liz Truss economical situation when the whole world ended, and my pipeline also vanished quite quickly. So the first year was quite hard, but then we kind of stuck with it. I'm a sales and a lettings agent, and then a big believer in the revenue share. So we also have a big revenue share group as well that we are also promoting heavily. Yeah, so 3 years of hard work, hard graft, a lot of challenges, some ups, some downs, but I'm loving every second. And here we are today.
That's awesome. And sometimes for real estate agents, at least in the US, it's almost unheard that you get a salary. In the UK, it's very different. And how does it work, from the corporate side of things? Can you describe a little bit of how it used to be and, the safety that you felt maybe there? And we can go later on what's now.
Yeah. So prior to the self-employed movement that probably started about 7 or 6 years ago, the only option was to be an employed agent. So big corporation. I used to work at CBRE, as an example, the world's biggest real estate company. So I was employed by CBRE. So you start off as a negotiator. You have a valuer and a manager. They go out, they list the instructions. You start as a negotiator. A typical base salary could be about £10,000 to £20,000 base salary, and then you earn commission on top. So I'm based in London, where you have hopefully the kind of biggest salaries in the country. As a negotiator, you might earn between 40 to 60 to 70k. And then your progression is then to go and be a valuer, where you then go out to win the instructions. You bring the instructions back to your team, and your team of negotiators, they will do all of the viewings. And you as the valuer, you will speak to the clients. And then the next level up is to be a branch manager, where you're then taken away a bit from the agency side, where it's more a bit HR and KPIs and micromanagement and trying to educate your team about how to be good agents as well. But that was the only option. The other option apart from that, typically as a branch manager in London, you can earn about £70,000 to £100,000. And that's a very good salary. It's a very good salary, a very decent salary. Your net take home is typically in between 4 to 5k each month. And that is very, very good. You can afford to pay your mortgage. You can afford to go on holidays, but it's not life changing. And you're also giving away a lot of your time. You're in the office between 8 in the morning and then 8 in the evening. So you're giving up a lot of your time for that salary. What is the other option? The other option prior to the self-employed movement was to create your own agency. But then the cost to do that, the portals here in the UK, we have the three main portals, Rightmove, Zoopla, and On the Market. To advertise on those portals, your monthly cost will be about £2,500 each month. Your CRM, your emails, your IT. If you do not have an office, you wake up to having £5,000 going out each month. If you want to have an office, you're then about £10,000, £15,000 each month. So the first of the month you wake up, to break even, you have to make 15k just to break even. And if you want to scale up, if you want to grow, as hopefully most ambitious people are, your costs only go up really. So they were the options. You either stay as an employed agent, but then you're giving away a lot of your time and a lot of your money to the agency owner, or you create your own agency, but then you have so much outgoings going out each month. And we've met some guys who do very big revenues. We met a guy down the road, actually. His revenue is £1.2 million coming in, but his outgoings is £1 million. So a hell of a lot of work, a hell of a lot of headache, HR, management issues to be doing good revenue, but your actual margin isn't that high. But the self-employed movement, that has really changed it now. And I also think from the consumer, the client's point of view, they don't need this big brand anymore. It's more about the personal service. It's all online. Rightmove. People don't walk down a high street anymore and look in the shop window for a house. It's all online. So the consumer, the client, I think they appreciate more the personal independent agent because they're dealing with me 24/7 from start to finish, as opposed to an agency where you might meet the charming manager, but then you don't meet him ever again. It's the young guys doing all the viewings. Some are good, but then some maybe aren't as good as an agent like myself of 15 years experience. So the whole industry is changing really.
That's quite a bit. 12-hour days for, your salary, which some people will be like, that's perfectly fine for me because I want to have a safety base. And then do they pay you commission after that, or it depends on how you negotiate that base?
Yeah. So you get a basic salary, 20 to 30k basic salary, and then it's commission on top. So as a branch manager, you get your salary, and then if you work hard, your commission 70 to 100k. You keep saying about a safety net, where in reality, some people think it's safe to be employed. But then these days with redundancies, with brokerages changing.
The last thing that you were saying was that the safety net and the comfort of having the job versus now that, having the commission. And I think like for Europe, at least, as you mentioned, UK, many countries in Europe are similar. They kind of step away a little bit from entrepreneurship, I feel, because if they give you, all these fixed costs before you even launch and have like an agency that you can, make some profit out of it, I feel like the society, this is not encouraging too much the entrepreneurship because it's like, too high. I don't know. I wouldn't talk about taxes too, right? Like we have that into consideration as a business owner, that maybe is detracting people from doing their own agency and they like going the safe route that you will call it. How did you transition, and how was the jump when you did when you decided to go independent? And that was not something in the UK.
Yeah, so I when you are an employed corporate agent, you are given everything. You turn up, it's there, it's very easy. All you do is you call clients, you call vendors. You don't have to think about running a business. I actually left real estate in 2019. I joined my friend's telecoms company, and then I came back to real estate with EXP 3 years after. So I was quite new back into real estate, and I hadn't run a business before. And admittedly, my first year was not a success because I was extremely sporadic. I was meeting architects about long-term relationships. I was going door knocking, but not having a leaflet. So the client didn't know that I'd knocked on their door. I wasn't really following a process. And it was also Jonathan Woods who introduced me. It was only really me and him in London. We didn't know what to do. We were learning, we were going on Canva, doing leaflet design. We didn't really have any structure. So my first year wasn't that strong. But then probably month 7, month 8 into the year, I then understood the process, i.e. we now have a lead generation process. It's data, it's social media, it's referrals, it's networking. There's some other points on there that's a very good blueprint. But once you follow the blueprint and follow the process and work hard, the results start to come. So the first year is very much business development. It's sending out letters, it's door knocking. My third year, my business has grown because it's now referrals, where if you keep working hard, keep doing your social media, keep networking, it's now client referrals, as opposed to at the start when it's very much business development, getting into the community, getting your name out there. But yeah, if you follow the process, work hard. I've just finished my third year. Prime example where in my second year, my first year, I sold 2 homes. I worked my socks off. I only sold 2 homes. I remember breaking down in tears because it was horrific. It was bad. But then I followed the process. In my second year, I sold 29 homes, and that was amazing. When you go self-employed and when you understand the margins involved, it is actually life-changing money. When you are employed, you are paid okay, but it's not life-changing. With the self-employed model, given our model, it's 70%. And EXP take 30%, we obviously get 70% of the commission compared to 10% as a high street agent. So we earn more money as a self-employed broker. But I was pretty much at maximum capacity in that year. I'd worked very hard because I'm building a revenue share group, of which I've introduced 66 agents to our organization across London. Collectively, I am now able to collaborate with agents in my organization to service more clients, where I might go on a valuation with one of the agents in my organization, introduce them to the client, do a cool Instagram video, and then that agent will then do all of the viewings with me very much involved in the chats and the conversations. So in the year just gone, I sold 54 homes. So my productivity has actually increased through building a revenue share group. And then the year just gone, I just hit icon status last year, bang on the deal. So once you understand the process, and also through building revenue share, it's allowed me to be more productive. And now for the agents who join our group, we now know exactly what to do. We've gone through the stage of not having a clue what to do, but now we know exactly what to do. We give them the useful crib sheet, the useful contacts to get their businesses even more productive compared to when me and John started, where we didn't have a clue what we were doing.
I can imagine, and that kind of multiplies yourself, right? Like it's not just you working solo as an agent; you double your production at your year just by having the connection.
Yeah, it's my brand and it's my reputation, and those leads, they've obviously been introduced to me. So people want to work with me. So from the 66 agents I have in the group, I obviously pick carefully who to collaborate with, thinking who can add the value for that client, or who could bring more value to it. So it's actually allowed me to be a lot more productive through building the revenue share group as well.
No, I love what you guys are doing, because London is so big, right? Like there's sections and areas that probably, like Chicago, it's, from one corner to the other is, some people want to cover the whole market, but then they spend so much time commuting. And if traffic is similar than what we have, it's like you spend more time in your car than actually doing business.
Yeah, so I live in South Croydon. It's actually zone 6, south of central London. My stock, it's normal stock. It's people moving for a reason, i.e. upsizing, downsizing. It's people moving because they need to move. But I say that I sell London. I am a 15-minute train journey into central London. So I say that I sell London, because if there's a house in central London at £2 million, if I charge 1.5%, that's a £30,000 fee to me. So I don't want to miss out on the opportunity. If it's a small flat up in North London, I might collaborate, or I might introduce that to one of my agents where I'm still involved in the transaction. But I personally sell London. Some agents, they want to be the local agent in that location, and that's absolutely fine. I guess EXP, it kind of gives you whatever business you want to build, really. But I personally say that I sell London because we have the transport to get around quickly. It's like Ryan Serhant over in New York. Like, he says that he sells New York, and that's cool. So I'm trying to be a bit like Ryan Serhant. Still a long way to go till I get to his levels, but I guess we have to start somewhere and follow the icons, I guess.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome because for at least for me, like London is such a different market, but it's a big city, right? So then people, like you were saying, downsizing or getting something bigger based on the pandemic. How was the pandemic for you guys? Were like people moving out of the cities as well, or how was the trend?
Yeah, I mean, we've experienced about 20 different markets in the last 2 years. So I lose track of what's gone on, all the economical situation, lockdowns. After COVID, things really kind of kicked on where they were kind of rushing because there was a stamp duty discount where basically if you buy now, you pay less stamp. That's happened again recently. The whole market is very heavily influenced by interest rates at the moment. I actually prefer these hard real markets because in a flying market anyone can sell. You whack it on the portals, it's easy. I actually prefer these hard challenging markets because as independent agents, well, one, I don't have a salary, so I'm here to get your place sold. Going back to how most corporate agencies work, quite interesting is that they want to have market share. So they want to have market share. They normally price quite high to win the instruction and then sign a client into 12 or 16 weeks, knowing after 4 weeks they can reduce the price. And then so the agent wins and the client doesn't get that good a result. It's worth noting that they sell probably about 25% of their stock. So that means that 75% of clients goes unsold. That is a scary number. I don't have a salary, so I'm not here for market share. I'm here to give you honest feedback about how to present your house, how to price your house to get your house sold. So my sales rate is probably about 90%, where if things aren't happening, I'm going to do something proactive to try and make things happen. There's always some clients that change their mind or don't want to sell, but touch wood to this day, after 3 years partnering with EXP, I haven't lost a client to another agent because I either sell it or if the buyer pulls out, the client asks me to go again because they see how hard I work. Touch wood. I haven't lost a client yet.
That's amazing. No, that's really good because as you were saying, when you're you don't have the safety net, right? Like you're going above and beyond for your clients because it's not granted. Do you see clients perceiving this differently, like from you as an independent agent or?
Yeah, I kind of turn on its head. So we have all of the tools of a big corporate agent. We have access to the portals, Rightmove, Zoopla on the market. I'm a big believer in social media, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I've also, through my revenue share group, we have a network of 85 agents. We are all branch manager, director level. I will promote your listing amongst all of my agents. Of self-employed brokerages, I will employ brokerages. In London, you've got Keller Williams, Movely, Fine & Country. Because we get the fee, I will share out my fee with those other brokers to try and get their buyers to your door. So, Mr. Client, I will try everything I can to get a buyer to your door. But most importantly, when that buyer is at your door, it's either me or one of my trusted agents handling that buyer. A very experienced agent, passionate, knowledgeable, who cares about what we do, giving them the most amazing service to give you, the client, the best result. So that's how we work as independent agents. And I think clients buy into that more. I think clients are more supportive and appreciate the independent, personal, honest agents who actually represent themselves.
No, that's great because I feel like now the clients, perceive you as that person that will represent them and work for them in a different way than a corporation will do.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I mean, as you've been obviously, you're very big on Instagram. I'm very big on Instagram as well. I send my Instagram to clients prior to me meeting them. So they already know who I am, how I work, what I do, how I market. So I don't go to many valuations these days competing against other agents. I've normally been recommended and then it's an easier conversion because I can prove who I am. That's how I am. You've been following me on Instagram for a year. So most guys know who I am already, really.
I like the fact that you do that because then it's like you're one step forward from the other, agents, and you guys create a lot of content and also understanding the local market because sometimes us looking into, your market is very different. Have you seen a trend, let's say, of people moving out of London? And because I think they had, I don't know if this is is this the trend going in what's happening in the UK? They increase the taxes for the high net worth individuals, and now more people are thinking to just move their headquarters somewhere else, like Dubai, for example. Have you seen that trend? And
Yeah, I mean, I think
how's it
yeah,
working?
I guess the whole work industry has changed. Where prior to COVID, my wife, as an example, lawyer, she was in the city 5 days a week. Now, if she's on 1 day a week, she whinges because she has to get on the train. But that's how the work people are. So there's a lot more hybrid working now. So because of that, if you don't need to be in central London, you might move a bit further out. Taxes. I don't know. People whinge about taxes every day, and it's hard to hide your money in places these days. A lot of people, they talk about going to Dubai, but then when you get there, you spend a lot of money surviving in Dubai and living in Dubai. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a hard one to kind of comment on the world economical situation. It kind of depends on the individual people, really. But it kind of depends on the individual's work situation, and if they need to be in town, if they can move further out. Personally, where I am, zone 6, where it's quiet, it's residential, but we're still very close into town. And that's where most sort of like normal, if you can say normal these days, where most normal people live out in the kind of suburbs, but then kind of commute into central London if needed.
The good thing of these days that, if let's say clients were moving in or out, you will have that network of referrals globally too, that you can send referrals to.
Yeah.
Our peers in different countries. Has it been the case for you? Have you been able to leverage that platform that we have for referrals inbound? I mean, receiving
Yeah. Absolutely love it.
Sending.
When I used to work at CBRE, I loved it there, but it's very hard to go and get a client from one of your colleagues in a different team because it was their client. Obviously, EXP, and I've now 3 years. I met you at Lisbon, the European conference last year. Looking forward to seeing you again at Barcelona. So when you kind of get your name out there, go and meet country leaders, get to know agents like yourself, do podcasts like this as well, kind of get your name out there. You get leads, not only domestic leads from other agents in your country, but also we get leads from agents abroad. Dubai especially, there's a lot of kind of movement from London to Dubai. A lot of Dubai agents reach out to me via Facebook Workplace and then send the client to me. And then obviously it's all tracked via the internal system where the percentages are tracked as well. Sometimes if we did not have the kind of central tracking system, there's a bit of a kind of risk where I don't know all these agents that I'm reaching out to via Facebook Workplace, but because it's all tracked there, confidently that it's all going to be tracked via EXP, that if it does lead to a sale, it's all tracked, as opposed to giving a client away to an agent you don't really know. Who knows what happens to your client? But yeah, I mean, I absolutely love the communication that we have, and to have access to 90,000 agents, to have access to our leaders, our founders at the click of a button. One of the many good things about who we are partnered with, really.
No, I agree with that, because then that network is what has allowed us to have these partnerships and relationships with agents all over the world, and understanding their market locally, having these conversations, and now with real estate tours that we started, like it's an effort for the community, so people can understand more about each other's markets. And by having those tours, like agents from the US and Canada, for example, have come to our market in Mexico and have understand more of our inventory. Like similarly, probably we can do one to UK. And because people see it on TV, they watch some shows, but they don't really know what's living in there and what do you get for what, right? So I think that community connection is super important.
Yeah, and that was one thing that we obviously, when you were on our pod last time, you spoke about all of the international referrals. You are probably the most prime example of this, about the international reach, the kind of contacts that you have, passing business between, I think you kind of mentioned like Panama, Spain, America, Mexico, anywhere where EXP is. I think you're trying to refer business all through the network. So you're probably the kind of best example in kind of getting. So again, it's like many things. It's like the more you put yourself into the organization, the more you kind of get back from it. Yeah. So I wake up to about 50 WhatsApp messages from yourself, Nathaly, in kind of different groups promoting the tours that you do. And because of that, you've got a fantastic brand, a fantastic name. Everyone knows of you. Which is awesome. All kind of down to your hard work, really.
No, we love it. It's understanding, I think, about international markets, down to the price per square meter is super important, because then you can compare actually not only the cost of living in a place, but also everything that comes around it. And when people are like, for example, oh, I'm thinking to move to London, right? And then they will start doing the math in their head, or maybe they go for school. It just makes more sense to get somebody like you have this conversation about your market, and then they're like, oh, I didn't know this about London, now I do, and actually it makes more sense for me to move for school there or something. So creating this content, I think, is super important.
And the reason
that
and the recent introduction of the co-sponsorship, that was just going to even, I guess, encourage and enable more partnerships, where any agent who you might know of London, obviously you now know someone who can obviously add value to that agent. Obviously, they know you. We can kind of work in partnership to make that agent even more successful. So the recent introduction of the co-sponsorship is just going to make it even stronger, adding value from yourself, my kind of local expertise as well, to make them even more successful, really.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree with that, because having these conversations, sometimes we don't take the time to talk to our own peers and get to know them, because now, like, somebody asked me, hey, who do you know in London or Lisbon or this, I have like a name in my head right away, like, oh, you have to talk to Lisa, or you have to talk to James, because we have that one-on-one. And sometimes, even if a group like BNI or different networking groups, you're just passing your business cards, hoping for the best, but just having these conversations, touch base monthly, weekly, or even yearly in conferences helps a lot, because you're always top of mind for your network that will refer you clients.
Talk to me about, obviously you were over in Peru recently. I was trying to watch the Peru launch through people like yourself, Instagram. Talk to me about that, how it looks amazing. Talk to me about that, how successful it was.
Peru was great, and I'm Peruvian, originally, so it was very nice going back home, and I haven't been in a few years to open the market. And sometimes when you're not in this location or in a country, you don't know the data, and you get there, you're like, wow, the economy has grown quite a bit, and I've been gone for so long, I didn't even realize. So then I'm literally I'm coming back on Sunday, because the opportunity is so great. I know that the market is ready. So to give you an example, and without giving too much names or franchises or anything, but when we're talking to Peruvian agents, they will tell us, we're excited that EXP is here, because there's not much to pick from. There's only Century 21 and Remax, and we get very high fees as a franchisee, or we don't get the benefits that you guys are bringing to the market. So people are thirsty and waiting for us to open in new markets, so they can have the value that they receive, or they heard online, or they heard from their friend that lives in Florida, or their friend that lives in Colombia, that EXP is already there. So I think we have a step forward, or a leg up, to the people that are hearing about it. And as different markets are opening, people are lining up to be like the first ones to be there and join as soon as EXP launches. And we had a successful event. I think
it's amazing. It's amazing to see all of these new countries, how they are launching. In the UK 5 years ago, I remember when John went to his first Christmas party, my sponsor, 3.5 years ago, and he's like, wow, what have I joined? Because it was very much in the early adoption stage. And even when I partnered 3 years ago, I went down to this pub. They couldn't afford to have the lights on. They couldn't afford to have the heating on. But now all of these country launches, Turkey, I was expecting to see like 5 guys there, but it's like Egypt, it's like 500, 1,000 people in the room. It just goes to show how far EXP has come in such a small time, because the UK was the 3rd country only 5 years ago. It's now 27 countries, and now I lose track, and every country that's opening is just so much bigger and better than the previous one. And it's awesome to be still very much at the infancy of this. That's why I get so excited. I've met 4 agents today. I met my old director at CBRE. He's like, James, I've never seen you this passionate. I was like, this is literally insane. It is insane. I feel obliged to tell anybody and everybody in property how good this model is. I try not get too excited, but as you know, Nathaly, I find it hard to hold back my excitement and my passion about the model. I just feel obliged to tell anybody and everybody. which I am doing.
No, I agree. And then people can feel it from you because we live it, we're like excited. And I feel like EXP right now, it's been like, as you say, only 5 years, because it's literally, it's like the baby steps for a company that, is getting so big. And the reputation proceeds in the countries as we go. So it's not like we have to go and look for leads or convince agents that we're the choice for them, probably better for their families and their legacy, right? It's more like they're waiting because they're waiting for the model. It's like, I heard this and I want to be in it. So we're like, literally, it's just a whole different perspective as we're doing more social media content. And it's so important, what you do as well, getting the word out, because otherwise, how will people know?
We feel extremely proud about what we do. Obviously, John's introduced me. There's 700 EXP agents in the UK. In our organization, we have 85. I've introduced 66. So it's nearly 10% of the EXP UK agents. I think there was 100 agents that joined recently. 40 joined in our organization because of what we do, the collaboration, the cross-sell. We put on events. I was over in Cabo at Brent Gove's awesome event. Like, we are just following what these amazing guys have done before us. If we just follow the very simple steps and the very simple processes, we're seeing these amazing results happening for me, my family, and also for the agents who obviously joining as well, really. I get very excited about our obviously a lot of hard work.
Right.
You have to work hard at it, but if you put in the hard work, follow the process that all these previous guys have showed us, amazing results are coming in.
No, I'm the same way. I'm super excited to get the word out, and in many languages, as we see that people are waiting to hear more, to just be part of something bigger. I feel like this company is more than it's just not a company. It's like a movement, like we're for the people. And it's when you see it and you feel it, like you just want to share the message. And
So we're now in April. Obviously, I know that you are an international traveler. What's the rest of your year looking like? Are you going to be in Barcelona, Miami? Where are you going to be traveling around the world? What's the rest of your year looking like?
So for me, it's super important to be in the main conferences that where EXP puts together officially. So for sure, I'll be in Miami and Barcelona. And because I feel what I connect with the agents the best, because when you know each other one-on-one, you remember, who you want to connect with, click with, and who you want to do business with, because there's a lot of agents, right, in EXPs, but you don't know who you align with in your values and how you do business or your excitement even, right? Like with co-sponsoring, as you were saying, I was like, okay, now I want to make sure I really know our partners, because then whether we're in the same upline or downline, use energy flows together. So I'll be in Barcelona, doing a real estate tour in Portugal and Barcelona before and after the conference. So I'll be there for that. Colombia, I'm heading to Peru now.
When's
Barcelona?
Carry on.
So then right now, Peru first. I'm gonna be there for a month, and then Colombia. We're gonna do a small real estate tour of Cartagena and the area, so people can get to learn more. And I think as we're moving to different places, people are joining more. Then next is Portugal, which we're putting it in the calendar hopefully today, officially the dates. And then Barcelona might be right after EXPCon, so people are already there. Maybe they can stay another couple of days. And we're trying to do something to that. Then probably I have right now summer kind of not traveling because I need to focus on launching a course. So hopefully I get back to Chicago and sit down, and for a month, hopefully I just get focus and get things done, because sometimes when you're traveling too much, you're like losing focus of like where you left it at when you last left your laptop. So I think focus time is also very necessary to get going back to the connections, the people you're meeting. You need to follow up. You need to understand how you're meeting people. When you meet people and you're like hi and bye, hopefully I'll see you again, it's not a relationship. So the work comes after you meet people, contacts, partners. Then after is like the relationship, the understanding what they do, how you can help them before you want to ask for help. I think that's the most important thing. But we're back.
Amazing. Super exciting.
We'll be back in Mexico in December, Miami in October. And we have a couple other trips there, TBD. And it's all mostly conferences, because we like going to conferences. That's where we connect with most people, from investors, events, to just people in the same mindset. I think that's kind of, we travel with that.
From our organization in Lisbon, in our revenue share group, it was only myself and John there last year, but from our group, I think it's about 25 of our group going. So we're now kind of promoting all of our guys that please go. Obviously, we don't get any commission on the events, but we just know it's been amazing for us. So we're so keen for all of our guys to go to these events. I met Cliff Freeman for the first time in Lisbon. That was just so valuable to kind of spend time with Cliff. So we're trying to get all of our guys to go to the UK conference and obviously Barcelona as well.
I think it's very mind blowing, and it changes your life when you actually understand the concept. Because when you live it in your country, like let's say people who are local to Barcelona or local to Colombia, they don't understand the big vision of what this is until they actually see it in action. And that only mostly happens in the conferences when they get to see, oh my God, this is bigger than I thought. And actually, I'm excited even more. So that's super important. I'm excited to see your team there and chat more for sure.
I've got a 7-month-old baby boy. I don't know if you can hear him crying, but as well as running a business and building an organization, I'm a full-time dad, and I've got my 7-month-old baby boy crying. So I've messaged my wife to say, please close the door. Real life Zoom call at the moment, issues. Running a business, international global real estate, but the reality of having a crying baby in the room behind me. So I do apologize if you can hear a baby. But going back to what you said,
there's so much value, home, right? Like the benefit of working from home. Like you're home, you're working.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. But there's so much value in kind of going to all these events. That's why I went over to Carbo for the kind of big revenue share group kind of put on by Brent Gove recently as well.
No, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for all your time today. And I mean, I'm super excited to see you again in Barcelona. I think we're going to have more things to talk about. Maybe we can do a live interview there as well. Because the last time when we were in conferences, we're like pulling so many directions. So it's kind of hard to, sit down and have that conversation. But at least we made some time today for the Zoom. And for sure, we'll see you in Barcelona with the whole team.
Amazing. Yeah, thank you. People. Yeah, thank you so much for what you do, Nathaly. You are a massive... you get so involved in the community, very selflessly kind of giving so much to all of the EXP agents. Yes, so thank you so much for what you do, and thank you for inviting me onto the podcast. And I can't wait to see you in Barcelona.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you so much, James. I'll see you for sure in a couple of months.
Okay, take care.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on the Real Estate Investment Nomad podcast. I hope today's episode has inspired you to explore new horizons in global real estate. Remember, the world is full of opportunities waiting to be discovered. And with the right insights, you can turn those opportunities into successful investments. If you enjoy the show, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your feedback helps us bring you the best content possible. Don't forget to follow us in social media for more resources and updates. Until next time, my friends, this is Nathaly Salas, encouraging you to think big, invest globally, and transform your real estate journey. Safe travels and happy investing.